Good morning. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of June, and we continue the saga of Numbers today, finishing off Numbers chapter 16, reading verses 36 through to the end, verses 36 to 50. And it's embarrassing, but we continue this litany of opposition to Moses. The Korah and Dathan and Abiram and the other men, their respective families had all been killed the day before. And the very next morning, the people stand up against Moses again. And you think, well, what is going on here? Is Moses really such a bad person that everyone is absolutely unhappy with him? And I think that's not the case, because Moses is considered to be one of the great leaders of Israel. So there are two things that stand out for me, and they are somewhat interrelated. The first one is that life in general, but leadership in particular, there will always be opposition. And that opposition can be based on perhaps you've done something wrong. Have the humility to evaluate, and if necessary, change your behavior. But often that opposition is based on the fact that people are either jealous of you, or they want the power that you have, or the popularity that you have, or worst case scenario, perhaps they're just opposed to you because they see you as a holy and righteous person. You are, in all true respects, a Christian. And those who are opposed to Christianity will do anything in their power to bring you down. And anything in their power becomes ever more flagrant abuse. And so you get exactly what is happening here. The day after, or shortly thereafter, Moses is confronted by the crowds of people. They're now accusing Moses of having killed the families of Korah, etc., all by himself. They have somehow conveniently forgotten that God had a hand in this. Moses had made it very clear that if Korah and Dathan and Abiram, etc., had died by some natural means, then this was entirely of Moses' doing. But if they were to die by some miraculous, stupendously different way, then it's quite obviously God at work, and the earth opening up and swallowing them, lightning coming down from heaven and burning up the 250 men with their censers and incense burning in it, standing before the tent of meeting. This is obviously quite extraordinary. But the people come and they gather against Moses and Aaron, and they say, you killed the people. We are unhappy. What is going on here? We don't want you anymore. And Moses immediately realizes that this is going to generate the wrath of God. And so the symbol of God comes down over the tent of meeting. God begins to speak to Moses and Aaron, and one assumes that Moses is given a word of what is going to happen. God is going to bring about a tremendous plague and literally everyone, wipe them out. And Moses sends Aaron immediately. Aaron is the high priest, sends him in with his censer, burning incense, to go into the middle of the people and to stop the plague, which Aaron does. But we are told that some 14,700 people die before the plague is stopped by Aaron. And it struck me that perhaps the second learning we can get from this is that those who are truly called by God will sometimes put up with the nonsense that gets given to them, and they will continue to be the leaders, continue to be holy and righteous before God, and just swallow the bad stuff that gets thrown at them. Certainly that's what Moses and Aaron did. One might have been tempted to say, well, Moses and Aaron were happy to just sit back and say, well, the people deserved it and now they're getting it. But no, they step in to save the people, knowing that their own lives were perhaps in danger because the people were so angry, their own acceptance as leaders. And remember, you're not a leader if no one's following you. All of this was at risk. And so we see Moses and Aaron nevertheless standing up for what God has called them to do. And so perhaps in the power play and the opposition that comes our way as leaders, a true leader, truly called by God, is someone who will still go to the home of their opposition and pray for them and bless them and minister to them. So what kind of a leader are you? We're going to get opposition, but do you get all angry and seek to punish those who are opposing you? Or are you continuing to be holy before God? Because it is God who called you into leadership. It is God who will protect you and guide you. And your simple job is not to seek the wrath of God on people, but to simply serve those people and let God be God and do whatever God wants to do. So, an interesting thought, certainly keep my mind active for the rest of the day. Folks, we'll chat again tomorrow. God bless.